Hi, it's Anna here. Thanks for tuning in. So, because reminding you of your power is a big part of who I am, of my frequency, what I've come here to share, and a big part of this channel, I wanted to make the distinction between what power is versus what force is, because I think a lot of us tend to amalgamate the two, and it's very actually the energy is actually very different. So, what society has programmed us to sort of believe in, or believe what success is very much force and control. It's very much a dominant, masculine energy of like push, push, push. You can see it with what a lot of toxic positivity is all about, or pushing, to have a very rigid morning routine, waking up at 5 a.m., doing a cold bath, doing all these things. It's like pushing, forcing. And it's, it comes from the energy of wanting to control things. And at the end of the day, I think it actually comes from a fear of not knowing, because this realm that we live in, there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of unknown. And so when you haven't reconnected with your soul, when you don't feel this connection within, it can feel scary. It can feel, it can feed an insecurity that you feel inside. It's, what people have called separation consciousness. And so to try to sort of patch that wound, you tend to want to control things. I think, we've all been raised that way. I was operating from that control and force a lot of my life, even as a woman, and it's still very present in the world, even with all those manifestation coaches, right? Like it's all very much very mental, very forcing. You think on something and you just want it to happen. Or a lot of the courses that are being offered are very much, to me, feeding that energy as well. It's a rigid step-by-step process of you just do this thing today and you just follow these steps, but that's not power to me. As you do this work, as you rise in frequency, and I invite you to look at the Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins. I've done a video explaining all of that. You move out of all that energy, because there's a process that happens with the inner work journey of awakening, where you slowly reconnect with your soul guidance within. The soul's guidance muscle becomes a lot stronger than your lower self ego desires and wants, and so everything starts to flow a lot more. And as you rise in that frequency, you're actually going to realize that you're not going to be able to force anything anymore. You need to, it's just not, your body is going to resist that so much. And so what do I mean by power? Power is very grounded, very grounded. It's a pure energy. It's a very high frequency energy. Power is clarity. It's alignment of your thoughts, words, and action. That's powerful. It's, being in charge of your thoughts and your emotions and your being fully embodied in your body, fully occupying your body. That's power. Knowing who you are by doing all that inner work, reconnected within. That's power. Self-awareness is power. Power is seeing reality exactly as it is, not as you want it to be or as you wished it to be. It's seeing people exactly as they are. When they tell you who they are, believe them. That's power. Instead of forcing someone to change to meet you, or waiting for them to change. It's normalizing and accepting. There's, power is acceptance, accepting things as they are, and making choices based on that, instead of trying to force or fit things when they're actually not fitting. I'm seeing a lot of people fighting to keep relationships that are deeply incompatible. Power is accepting that, okay, this relationship is actually not compatible, and I need to let it go and not making it mean anything about anyone. That's power. Power is self-love. You know, it actually comes from a place of love, but true love, not the matrix version of love, of trying to force things and make people stick together even when they're incompatible. Power comes from a true place of love. Power is truth with a capital T. Truth is the highest vibration. But power is not doing nothing though. Power is not, so there's a huge place of power that's being authentic, being vulnerable is very powerful. Surrendering to your soul's guidance, extremely powerful. But power is also taking action from that guidance. It's not apathetic at all. It's also driven, but it's driven from a place of following that soul's guidance. You're no longer doing it from separation consciousness, but from unity consciousness, from being deeply filled within, deeply anchored in who you are, deeply anchored in a higher energetic field, what I like to call the harmonic field. A lot of people call that God, whatever word you want to use, whatever you connect with most, it doesn't matter. That's true power. And when you can tap into that, you become unbreakable. Because no matter what anyone says about you, you know yourself really well. So it's, you know, if someone calls you something or assign ill will about something that you're doing when you know it's not that, because you know yourself very well, then it doesn't affect you anymore. And so that's the navigation of this path, right? That's the inner work. It's slowly moving out of this forcing, controlling energy and coming back into this power energy. So there's a softening that happens, but it's not just a feminine energy. It's a balance of both the masculine and the feminine. Because actually that force and control is a toxic masculine energy. It's not the true masculine energy. So navigating this path is coming back to wholeness within. It's balancing these masculine and feminine energies and purifying them. So you come into your true power. This grounded, clear, clarity is important. If you are confused, you just have more work to do. You are truly in your power when you are clear. When you have so much clarity about who you are and where you're going and your place in the world. So that's what I wanted to share. David Hawkins actually has a great book called Power versus Force that explains, he actually talks about the map of consciousness in that aspect of power versus force. But I've seen it in my own journey. I've seen that shift, that gradual shift. And I see that now where I am, I can't force things anymore. I wouldn't be able to follow a course with a step-by-step guide telling me, you need to do this exactly today at this time. I can't do this. Because it doesn't come from a true place. I'm not feeling it right now. It's not going to work. So it's this balance between staying true and authentic about what you're feeling like doing right now, but also not. It doesn't mean you're doing nothing. I still go to the gym. I still exercise. I'm still working. I'm still reading books, but it's flowing. It comes from a very powerful place. I'm not forcing anything. So, yeah, I thought it was an important distinction to make because I'm going to be talking a lot about power in this on this channel. And I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying because we all have biases with words, so I wanted to clarify what that means. It doesn't mean pushing, doing hard things, hustle. It doesn't mean that at all. That's that's not powerful. That's an inversion of power. It's not true power. True power comes from soul, comes from this divine connection within, from fully occupying your body. That's powerful. And the more you do the inner work, the more you occupy your body, the more clear you become. That's true power. True power is also not afraid to call things out as they are. You can use your voice, you can speak up. True power is having a very healthy relationship with anger and feeling your emotions and not being afraid of being vulnerable. That's true power. So I think that's where I want to end it. I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.